Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? Got a brand new episode of Marvel YAP for you guys today, episode 106. Dan's lied to me, guys, and I am going to rip him a new one. We also talk about the draft and some OTA hopes / copium. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, I am joined by the coastest with the mostest, not my Dance. How we doing today, Dance?
I'm doing great. You know, I'm glad that you started doing coastest.
Yeah.
But each time you do it, I forget that you do it, like right beforehand. And then I remember like, oh yeah, he does do this. And I still don't know how I feel about coastest. And I'm this far, we've been doing it for a few weeks now. And I still am like 50-50 on whether or not, like, it's fun. I actually have no idea if I enjoy coastest, but you know, it's being a fun bit. It's been enjoyable. So I'm doing well.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not doing well, Dance. You know why? Because you lied, Dance. You lied.
That's crazy.
Dance lied not just to you guys, but also to me.
Wait, what did I lie to you about?
I cannot believe it. Dance lied that, oh, I don't know if it's going to be draft. I don't know if it's going to come out to Doomsday. I don't know all this. Dance definitely knew something that was happening and did not tell any of us, and tried to just play the cat and mouse game and just kind of drop hints here and there. But
No, I refuse this. The topics for today, we're ending with the OTA Copium. The topic we'll be talking about second today is draft as a whole. But the first subject, Tucker, is we lied.
No, Dance lied.
We both lied. No.
Dance
you
lied,
and
guys.
I both knew draft was coming
Dance
out.
Lied.
That's a lie of omission. You're a liar too. Listen, okay? We did 100% lie, but at the same time, but we needed to. It's our NDA. Like we had to lie about that.
We did. We would have gotten kicked out of the program if we didn't.
I really do value, a relationship with that. I value being a content creator. I have an NDA and I'd like to be able to do future videos for them. And maybe I can get the chance to do that. I don't know. You will have to wait a little bit to see if that happens. But I will lie 100%. And I'm glad. I actually had a different content creator who DM'd me and said, it was so obvious what you were doing. It was so obvious you were lying. And I didn't know. And I got really concerned, like, oh gosh, I just sold. I've ruined it for everything. Like the amount of content creators that kept it quiet was absolutely fantastic. And then I saw this comment from, this was in the main chord. Apollo said this because the main Discord, right? The official Marvel YAP Discord. Because, oh yeah, someone else said earlier. Okay, someone else said, no way, Not My Dance said it, that this was all the marketing on Twitter getting ready for draft because it won't launch until December. And so it was like, I think Apollo here was like, oh yeah, I disagree with this take from Dance. This is such a bad take. And someone else was like, no way Dance said that with like a skull emoji. Yeah, I said that. You bet I lied about that. Okay, I knew the answer to the question. And so I had to go as far back as possible. And then the other person was like, okay, yeah, he has to know something. And then thusly this from Apollo was like, you gotta be tier 1 actor because he really sold. He had no idea what was going on. And I'm happy about that at least.
Yes. Thankfully, guys, we have not lost our jobs. So that is very, very fortunate about this. So yes, we did lie. Dance maybe a little bit more. But we did lie collectively. And draft mode is live, you guys. And might I add, it is absolutely phenomenal. Not only is it the most generous LTM I think we have ever had, it also is the most fun LTM I feel like I have ever played. The possibilities are endless. There's no like two drafts that are exactly the same because there's always some different augmentation or something that goes on, which by the way,
yeah,
the augmentations are really cool. Sometimes you get the worst augmentations for your cards, but you can skip them. You do not have to click an augmentation. You can skip them if it does not add any benefit to your cards. You can skip those. So
the amount of times actually, can you go to that screen, right? I think if you go to the draft screen, you can even see, like, I think they've got a list of all of the, like, augments and, what is it? Like, all the augments, what each one of them does and stuff like that. I think we could potentially show that here.
Yes, I should be able to find a way.
But
I can't find that.
It's really cool. I actually got the opportunity. Part of the reason why I got to know about draft and actually got to mess with it a little bit in preparation beforehand was because I had the opportunity to do an interview with the creator who made draft, Sam Stoddard. And it was really cool. Part one of it's actually already up over on Fourth Location. If you haven't checked that out, it's a cool bit. Part two will be launching at some point, TBD in the future. Don't know if I can say it because guess what? I know when it will lie, and I'm not know when it will come out, and I'm not going to lie about it this time. I made a point. I'm not lying. Okay, I'm being honest this time.
Being honest,
but
I'm gonna show it real quick on screen for you guys. Full screen. This are what all of the augments are. Which we can click on them as well.
Yeah. When you're talking about the really bad ones, I think the worst one by far is, if I'm not mistaken, it actually, where is it? Regroup. Regroup is, oh gosh, I hate that one. Honor, he'll return your lowest cost card here to hand to give it +3 power. It feels like they wanted to do a bounce mode or a bounce deck. And maybe there's going to be like a future version of draft where it is one. But without that, gosh, it's like...
It's not the worst.
It really
destroy
hurts.
Decks, though. This is crazy, though. Wakandan Tech, if you put that on a Wolverine, when a Wolverine gets destroyed and then lands again...
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Procs this, which is crazy.
I had that, and then I also managed to... And what was that? Okay, just cloning bats, where you just play an extra one. Play an extra card. And I got to use that in combination with it, and every single time it does that. Afterimage is another really fantastic one. I really like that, but also move struggles, I think.
Yes.
It's both of them. But I really do love, like, augments. Yeah, tag-in is insane here. It's really cool.
I've had a tag-in with a destroy deck, which it's going to sound crazy, where I had Aurora as the tag-in. So every time I destroyed a card, Aurora came onto the board, and then I got a clone. So every time I destroyed a card, 2 Auroras hopped down onto the board the first time I destroyed a card. So there have definitely been some very crazy iterations, and this game mode is so much fun.
Yeah. No, it's an absolute blast. I think you right. It is I think it feels like the most fun game mode. One of the things that, again, I talked with Sam about was like, they gave access to every single card. Like, it doesn't matter. Speaking of every single card, there's also, we got Scarlet Witch, Queen of Chaos, who has been data mined in the past for next season. She was available. I don't know if she still is, but she was available for some people.
That's crazy. Early access to these cards, like what?
Apparently. It's so cool. And I loved I just loved the chance to be able to mess with all these cards. This game mode is so much fun. Like you mentioned as well, like, it's super generous as well. It is really cool. I saw, what is it? Smiles literally was streaming for 24 hours playing just draft. Because one of the things he was stoked about was the fact that technically, if you never like lose and you never sleep, you can get 100 credits every time you win, which is also like, that's pretty cool. The fact that they're just giving, like, that is the first time we've had a renewable resource of credits in Marvel Snap, which is sick.
Yes. And I mean, you do have to win, which means like complete an entire draft and win to get the 100 credits, which also means that Smiles played for 24 hours. It did not lose all of his tickets, which is really insane too.
It's so cool. Yeah, that is one of the biggest complaints I've heard so far about draft, the fact that it is a ticketed mode.
Yes.
And while I do think that is unfortunate, like, legitimately, I actually think it makes sense, because if it wasn't ticketed, I think people would just be incentivized to say, oh, hey, I have a bad run. I'm just going to, like, reset. I'm just going to trash it immediately.
And in every draft mode I've played, in any game, it's been a ticket system.
Yeah, exactly. Like unless it's its own like a rogue, which by the way, it's a whole other aspect. The fact that it kind of feels like a roguelike as well. The fact that it is, you got all of these different pieces of it. It is so cool. I don't know. I think it's such a great way to do it. The fact that we've already talked about the augments, but they were like, when I thought about draft and when I was trying to figure out like what are the things that makes it different, there are three things. There's number one are the augments, like you said. Number two is duplicates. You can have multiple of the same card.
Yes.
Which is sick. And then number three is what is it? Is like stat changes where I've gotten a 1/1 null.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's really good. So I love it. I think it's so cool. It's sick. I think it's great to be able to like mess with all these different types of decks. And I don't know. Which one have you enjoyed the most out of the games you have played so far with them?
I think Boost. I think Boost is probably my favorite to play. I've had a couple different augmentations where like Stick had the Black Panther augmentation, so like he would double power after he revealed.
Oh, that's
which
so
is
good.
Insane. But I do agree. I think what I like about the game mode in general is all the fun, like kind of weird decks that you can make, like starting Dormammu at like 16 or 18 power. And I like that there's different rarities for some of those more quest kind of, heavy cards. Like Zombie Galacti's like a legendary, Dormammu's a legendary, Null's a legendary. So you don't get them every single run, but when you get them, they're like a really good major, like feels good, and it gives you like a nice little jolt of just kind of, I don't know, the endorphins. Your endorphins are going crazy.
Yeah.
But what is your favorite deck to play at the moment in draft?
I think I'm not gonna say it's good, but I actually love the move when I talk about those because Afterimage is such a fun combo. It doesn't happen often. It's difficult to do, but I've had some Afterimages where I've gotten Lady Bullseyes, I've gotten Thing First Steps, I've gotten Sages, where like it's great. You move those around, it's fantastic, but it's not consistent, and I have to understand that. But honestly, like I think consistently, Destroy is probably the best one. It's a very solid deck. I think there's a lot of like varied options due to the fact that like tag in can be, like you mentioned already, powerful with you had those auroras and such, and also being able to get like additional ways to destroy cards is nice. I do think that ongoing is also really stellar due to the fact that I've gotten a Shang-Chi with an ongoing ability.
Is it the one that's like whenever there's like a certain amount of cards in the area, Shang-Chi gets like +1?
Yeah. It's like there's a card that is there no card actually that has that? I guess not. But it's just +1 power for each of your other cards here, and that's it. And that's like, it's a really good line. It just makes it really powerful. I had one where it was Captain America who had 2 shields he was throwing. It was doubling his on reveal. And then what is it? And then I also had Onslaught as like a 3 cost in there. The nice little thing about these is that you can also like look at your past runs and see how well you've done. And I can see I've done 35 games so far of draft.
35 already. Wow.
Yep. And it's been, they did a shadow drop of it, and they dropped it at like 9 a.m. Pacific, I think, or like 10 a.m., which was a different time. People weren't expecting it.
Yeah, literally out of nowhere. And I just saw all the messages through Discord and everything. Drafts out. Oh my goodness. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let's get into it. One of my biggest like downs on draft is that it is an LTM. And I know this is the first rendition of draft, so who knows what'll happen in the future. But as an LTM, I do wish that it was actually a permanent mode instead. Say, adios to Conquest. Maybe only keep Conquest for like friendly battles for like the tournaments and stuff, and just do draft instead. But I was like, oh man, we don't have this forever. So I hope they run it a lot, or it does become a permanent mode.
I think I agree. I 100% agree that I would love to see it actually inside of more game modes. We don't obviously have it yet, or more versions of it just continuing. But it's also like, it's the first version of it, so it makes sense to me personally that they aren't doing. It's not like a permanent game mode. But I also don't the fact that it's not a permanent game mode now doesn't mean it can't be one in the future. And that's what I'm going to hope for. And that's what I really like. That's I think the cool stuff about it personally for me. But also one of the other things I think is like that they can do with it in order to, I have been playing, I told you 35 games and I keep playing it. It's been so much fun. But even after 35 games, it's like, I am good. I want to keep playing. I want to keep going. I'm having a great time here. And I think a lot of people have been having a similar reaction to that, where it's like, they want to keep playing it. They want to keep doing more stuff.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that more people aren't tired of it. And we are, like I said, we recorded this. I told everyone last week that we were going to be recording this one, a day late and putting out a day late just because we had stuff going on. And we get to now like talk about this one day after it's come out. Yeah. Which is cool, honestly, because then we get to like break all this stuff down and talk about all this with the additional bit of information. So I can be like, people still aren't tired, and I'm not tired of it. I've been playing 35 games of it, been playing an unnamed amount of games to get ready for it as well. And I'm happy. I want more of it. And I believe, like, according to data mines, there are a bunch of other augments that we also have.
Oh, really? I didn't know that there was a bunch of different augments too. Do you know what the data mined ones are?
I know I can pull them up here, but I know for a fact that there have been more of them that were data mined. I have to find the list of all of them. I can find them somewhere. I'm going to find them while you talk about the different. Talk about the different types, maybe even of the decks.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too. What makes this so refreshing and allows you to play 35 games or just even more of those, and you're not just playing one game. You're playing up to 5, up to 7 games when it comes to like playing draft. Because you have 2 lives, which I like that you have 2 lives, 2 opportunities to actually. I mean, I guess you lose twice, you're out, but you at least can lose once and be safe, which I really like here. But I think it's refreshing. It's not playing against the same meta decks over and over and over and over again. I think that's one of the biggest things that's beneficial for you. Yeah, is that entire aspect. So not having to rely on that, I think really does help out a lot. So I'm interested to kind of see when more of these iterations come out, kind of seeing what happens then.
Yeah, I just DM'd you 2 pictures. So we've got, I think all of these, there's all the augments that have been data mined, including ones that we actually have in game. And so if you look at these, right, one of the first things you'll see here that we don't actually have in game right now is Slingshot. I think that's one of the few ones. Slingshot. On reveal, give one of your other cards here +1 power and move it to the right. We do not have that in game. And I think move decks are struggling. It'd be great to see that one in game.
Yeah, no, I wish that's like pretty much a Rania. If you had like in a Rania to be able to do something like that, I would be really interested to kind of see if like they can do hot fixes like that. Well, here's what's struggling this draft mode, so next time around we're gonna add these to really help boost those. Like I wonder if these are something that rotate in and out, or if it's like maybe a meta just dependent kind of thing. Kind of like how like champions rotate in and out of like Grand Arena and stuff. Yeah, true.
They did also talk about like Bruce Banner. If you get a Bruce that is like that has a different amount of power than normal, it makes it so that whenever he hulks out, it doesn't actually like fully transform. It's like I talked about it before, where like transformations aren't consistent, and I think someone pointed out to me it's transformations only, like built-in transformations in cards like Khonshu, and Sabanor and Bruce Banner. Those take the power changes into account, whereas other transformations don't. You can also get, I think, Fogwell's Gym. They said it's, they said they're working on changes. I don't know if that means in this version or if it's gonna be in a future one, but like there's issues like that. But I know I only have one data mined thing in this like version of a change in this screen, but I think I sent you a second one as well, which has I think a couple more too.
Yes, let me pull that one up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Adding a copy to a deck, which what is it? On reveal, add a copy of me to your deck with +2 power.
Oh, that's crazy.
I mean, half of these are already crazy. alley-oop. We already have, I think, alley-oop. Back row power augment, ongoing +3 power if this is in your back row.
Okay.
Oh yeah, copy hand. On reveal, add a copy of your hand. Add a copy of your hand. Wait, just a whole hand. Then your hand that copy costs 2 more. That's actually, it seems like a bad one.
No, yeah, that's weird.
The horde augment is like a hidden one. I actually have seen people get that one before, where it's like when this card is revealed, yeah, increase the power of your zombie horde by 3. Because like I've heard people talk about it where like it made their blue Marvel actually have like the blue Marvel zombie version of him.
Zombie blue Marvel?
Like the variant.
Oh, really?
But it was only zombie, but it was still regular. It was weird stuff like that. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard about Ant-Man. It was those 2 that I've heard of. I don't know if there's any other ones in there. But, and lastly, first word, Lone Wolf is the only other, I think, data mind augment. If this is your only card here, double its power.
Yeah, that sounds gross. And then Invulnerable, we have that in the game? Or no?
I guess we don't, yeah. Can be, wait, I actually forgot. Can be played anywhere, but can't be destroyed or have its power reduced.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that does seem pretty good. I would argue that's a pretty good ability. Wow. Yeah. So like we've got more augments and it feels like they could definitely make more.
Yeah.
Here's my question with draft and like augments and like these changes. Do you think they could do discard?
If they can do destroy on a card, they could definitely do discard. Because, you know, if we've had the one where it's like when you play this card, destroy your lowest powered card here to add +3 or +4 power to the card you just played. They could do it discard, but it'd have to be like a targeted discard kind of thing. Or whether it's lowest cost like a first Ghost Rider, or whether it's rightmost like a Blade, leftmost like a Redshift. Like I feel like there's so many different opportunities for you to add a variety of abilities because we have so many different abilities in Snap.
You could also get ones that are like Proxima Midnight or whatever that just say when you discard this, add it to random location, or when you discard this, put it back with extra power. Like we could also just get versions of that that just protect themselves from being discarded. Because we also already have, I think, regeneration.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Regeneration is that way.
No, but like it goes back into your hand. So like Apocalypse versus Wolverine.
Gotcha.
So it's like I feel like that'd be cool. But we also like we don't have any of those yet. But that's another thing I feel like that I'd love to be able to see them try to do, because it very obviously they aren't doing anything really discard-esque immediately here.
Yeah, and I think it's because the synergies are a bit more niche when it comes to like discard, even than like with destroy. Because like with destroy, of course, like discard, you could do an entire archetype of discard. But like with destroy, you have different augments that can help benefit destroy, and you have like flexibility, and there's like different ways you can mitigate your hand. And I think destroy is a less feels bad, drafting bad than how horrible it would feel if you have a bad discard draft. I think it'd be like a really huge feels bad.
Yeah, they would definitely need to have some like discard highest cost, discard lowest cost, or discard highest power, lowest. Like they would need some of those styles of augments, I think, that would like help you out there. But I do think I'm interested in like other versions of draft mode with that in mind, because I think that'd be really cool. I'd love that. There's a bunch of really cool pieces, I think, just draft as a whole. From what I've been told as well, I think there's like, what is it? I think Lauren spent the time and like went in and talked about like when the exact order you get everything and all of those like whatevers, like how many legendaries are like potentially you're gonna get, what are the odds of you potentially what is it, getting like there's a couple like rare events, I think, like the zombie horde thing, like that's like a very rare like a legendary style event. I also really think that if you look at these like legendary versus like commons and whatever, the legendary ones kind of seem, you're right that you mentioned a couple ones earlier where it was like Dormammu, and I've seen Thanos, but Jubilee is also a legendary. And it's there's quite a few different like styles of legendary quote unquote abilities that I really question, like why is this Why is this legendary?
Well,
Why is this
certain
such a
buffs are considered legendaries too, like having a certain variant of like Deadpool or like Muse and stuff. Certain buffs are also legendary. Like this is a rare augment or a rare starting build you can have for said card, which I think is really neat.
Yeah. I do really like a lot of those abilities. I think a lot of them are cool, but I also definitely think that some of them feel like lackluster in that way, where it's like I wish this was cooler. I wish we could have a little bit more here, but I also understand why it doesn't do more. But looking at the actual like the versions that we have so far, dude, control sucks.
Yeah, I mean it's the Guardians. The Guardians just are feels bad.
It's not
and
just
it's pet
Guardians.
cards too. I've seen like Negasonic, Shang-Chi's, armor.
It's also Scream.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
no.
like it's so weird the way they've chosen to do a lot of those things, because it's like, why is this is what we needed? Really? Why are we going with, why is this like all under the same style of category here? I don't know. It feels like there's a few different types of these that definitely should be like in here. I've seen people talk about they've gotten like Thanos Fractured Frontier, they've gotten like a bunch of like other new cards. People were getting Red Hulk, who has like already released in game by the time we've like recorded and put this out. But they've also were getting him even before he came out. I heard people talking about that.
Too.
Yeah, the new Scarlet Witch obviously as well for like future one. Same thing with Hellcow. But like, so like it seems like they've put a lot of these future cards in the game, and it feels like they want it to be a thing that they could potentially come back to. I question some of the initial choices, but that's also why I'm kind of okay that this is a limited time game mode, because there are definitely parts of this that feel like I question. The parts of it that I don't think make the most sense, but as time goes on and they reiterate and do whatever they need to, I think they could balance that out. They could fix those like weirdness. They could fix the problems, and it could really land and be a powerful game mode that would potentially replace like a Conquest. I'd honestly be down.
I think we could get a draft like this for the new game mode that replaces Conquest. And then each season, the draft mode has different pools of cards. And you know what cards are in the pool. And then on top of that, then they can release LTM draft modes. Let's do an LTM Grand Arena draft mode. An LTM Team Clash draft mode. Like LTM's that way, where you start off with 3 cards specific to those Team Clash decks. You start off with 3 cards maybe in Sanctum. Like being able to tie in other game modes into draft at its core, and using the RNG to be able to form decks. That way, when you are playing those LTMs, it's not like, well, I'm only seeing the same 3 meta decks the entire time. You might maybe see the same 3 meta decks, true, but they still had to draft for those cards. You're not guaranteed to have that same set of 12 every single time. I think having draft mode at a core for LTMs and doing some other ways of performing those LTMs would add more freshness to it, and also keeping a core base draft mode. I think that would be absolutely fantastic, and I think for Snap, we need to have draft mode as a permanent game mode for that flavor, for that refresh. We still have ladder, but looking at the shop we also have for draft, we should get a shop of some sort also for ladder. And like once you hit infinite, you have an infinite shop, and you're going towards these ranks and everything too. And you get rewards as you progress, as you get snap points. Maybe you have a limit on stuff you could get for the shop on ladder for like your snap points of the day. But I think this really has opened the door for some opportunities to really continue to improve Snap more and more and more. And I think even just doing the LTMs first, make draft mode an official mode that's permanent in Snap, and then LTM drafts, I think would be really, really fun. And people might be more invested in LTM draft variations opposed to the current LTMs we have.
You want to know one of the things I really think, especially why I think this should become a real mode. And again, I understand why it's not right now, potentially.
Right.
But also, if it becomes a real mode, you get rid of the gold tickets in the reserves.
Yes.
And you put more draft tickets in there.
Yes.
Done. Like, that's it. That's all you need there.
Yep.
That'd be sick. I'd be so down, bro. Do you think that, like, at that point, if that ever happened, I think if that happened, they wouldn't make it so you could just play, I feel like the ticketed mode or whatever. I don't think you'd be able to keep replaying it and then getting like those 100 credits each time.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't believe that they would change that. Or I believe they would change that. Do you think that they could do some version of, you know how we had, Spotlight avatars for a bit?
Mm-hmm.
What if we got draft avatars that are like with the green and like the metallic colors of draft?
I think for a draft avatar, that would be great.
I think that's like, I don't like legitimately, I am shocked draft is this generous, straight up. And I do not expect it to be this generous in future runs, because we saw that before when like Deadpool's Diner came out. It was super generous and we were all freaking out about it. And it came back and it wasn't. And people were like, what the heck? This wasn't as generous before. Like, I didn't expect it to be as generous then. I don't expect this to be as generous next run.
Yeah.
But also, like, it'd be great, again, especially if they can keep this going for, like, another multiple bit of time and, like, we keep playing it and having a blast with it. I'd love it if they could put some cosmetic reward in there where it's just, hey, I got a 5-0 with a deck. And that's it. And it's just like, cool, you just get it, like, just get a border on your avatar. Enjoy it. That's it. That'd be great. I think that's sick, and I'd love it.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be awesome, especially if you do take away Conquest, because that gives you another one of those rewards for it too. And then also, I want them to continue to give you a free draft ticket if you do win all 5. I think getting refunded for the draft ticket is good.
Yep.
I think credit-wise, I love that we're getting 100 credits. 100 credits. I hope that even if they died down and did 50 credits, I still think 50 credits is good for what we're doing, just as it's a repeatable thing.
You know what actually bothers me about those?
Oh, yeah. I have
Why
like
do we get 20 and 20?
Yeah.
I wish it was 25.
Yeah.
I wish they put 5. Like, listen, it's not even me trying to be greedy. You like, people will know, and you should know, like, I'm not someone who's greedy. If anything, like, I ask for people for less, so that, like, because I try to think about the balance or like the game balance and the decisions and such. And so, like, when I'm asking for something, you know it's serious. So I ask that you go follow Tucker, and because he's an absolutely great guy. He deserves all the love and support possible, okay? My man is fantastic. He's so gorgeous. Look at that. Look at his smile. I love it. He's got some great content coming up the pipeline over here, whether it be future episodes of Marvel YAP, whether it be he having a modicum, a second of free time in which he can record a video, whether it be something like that. He probably won't have a second of free time, but he's got awesome content. So you make sure you're subscribed over to his YouTube. Then make sure you're subscribed over to his Twitch as well, and following him there for when he actually does play Draft live on stream. I know he and I have both been super busy this week, and it might be like a week or so until we actually can, but you got to make sure you're following him anyway, because he's going to be putting out that great content, especially considering we got drops live on Twitch as of when this is going up. So make sure you're following Tucker over on TikTok, over on the Twitter, over on the Twitch, over on YouTube. And you know that I don't recommend things often, okay? I'm typically someone who's going to try to be sparing with these. So when I recommend Tucker, you know it's real. And when I recommend that Second Dinner makes those rewards 25 credits for each one of them instead of 20, it's not because of, like, I want more free stuff. It's because getting to 25 or having an extra 20 right there, it just bothers me. I don't know, like, we've had everything else be balanced by 25 so far. And the fact that it's all of a sudden not.
Booster VATs, and that's the last time it was all scuffed.
But but you could still rebalance it, and you can't anymore.
No. It could.
It's so like, I'd love it if it was a 20. I'd love it if it was 25. I feel like that'd be fair.
You can rebalance it if you spend to split cards that you don't have boosters for.
No, not anymore. It just doesn't. It doesn't, like, because you don't get charged extra credits.
All right, because it's 2 boosters. It's not like 2 credits per.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't even do that fun stuff anymore. Like, you just have to deal with it. So I want those to go back to 25.
Yeah, I'd be down for 25. That'd be a buff to the losses. You get an extra 5 credits. I'm not opposed there. But do we have any buffs we want to do for the OTA dance, or are we looking at some nerfs all around?
I definitely have some buffs I want to talk about for the OTA today, because actually the OTA is tomorrow. It's not today. But what is it? I feel like legitimately there's a lot of cards in Marvel Snap that are okay. I think a lot of them are actually pretty well balanced. And there's a couple cards that you could probably remove a point or two power away from, but I've also recommended to like remove those points of power, I think, quite a few times in the past.
Yep.
So I wanted to make a point, try to talk about some cards I think that haven't really been discussed by us potentially as much. And I think maybe one of them I've talked about, but I don't think the others. You mind if I start us off then with this?
Sure, go ahead.
Can we talk Aunt May?
Aunt May.
They've recently buffed Aunt May to be a 2/4. She has the end of turn ability. If you used a movable ability, give a movable card in your hand -1 cost and +2 power. Yeah, I don't think this is a good ability. I think this is one of the problems with this ability is you don't actually want to hold onto movable cards until the end of the game. Typically, you also want to use those movable abilities only on the last couple turns in order to set up for a very big play. Aunt May just really struggles with all of that because she goes against the way that a movable card wants to be used, doesn't have enough synergy. She just has so many things going against for her.
Okay.
So what I want them to do is I just want them to change it to go back to a 2/3 and just say give a card in your hand, -1 cost +2 power.
Give a card in your hand would be nice. I think that would
Just
be
get rid of the movable on the second bit.
a little rework I'm not opposed to, or give her synergy with Uncle Ben or make her a 1/3.
You could do that too, straight up. Like make her a 1 cost. Honestly, sure. Maybe you play it then. It's just such an awkward card.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know, forcing it not just to be a buff to your movable cards is, I think, a fair thing. Because I really hate trying to. I've had a draft run where I had her, and it sucked. Because you don't want to use her.
No, you don't. Because it's like I'd rather have gotten something else. And I think Aunt May's feels bad there. I would love for her to be a different card. I think that makes her way more playable, especially in the Silky Smooth style decks, and also just the move decks in general. Like this would be a good stomper piece just in there, getting you -1 cost and +2 power on any card. Even if it was -1/+1 instead of +2, I feel like that also would be something just good. So I'm not opposed to that change. I'm going to hit you with a nerf first, and the last of my two are buffs. I've been saying this for weeks now. Juggernaut should not be a 4/5. Juggernaut, I think, should be a 5-cost card. I think I'm not thinking it should be like a 4/3. I think Juggernaut needs to be a 5-cost card. Something like a 5/6 or a 5/7, just because at 4, I think it's still too cheap.
I'm going to shout out Smiles. I've mentioned this on stream before. When I asked, I was talking to him and I said, if Second Ender said you could make one change in Marvel Snap, and they said you could do one thing, whatever balance change you want to do, what would it be? He said Juggernaut to 5/6. And I think that's such a fair change. It's been sticking with me for a bit of time. I think it's a great change. I think Juggernaut is way too good as a 4-cost card, right? This is still a better version of like an Eliath right now. This is a better version of, what is it? Like, you can also use it in combination with Cosmo, which is just fantastic, especially if you can discount either one of them. It makes so much sense for this to be a 5-cost card. I think I am perfectly happy, perfectly acceptable with this becoming a 5-cost card. 0 personal issues from me on this being, and this getting nerfed.
All right. Can I go back-to-back dance?
You hit it. Yeah, hit it, man.
So I want Infinity Ultron to be a 4/5. So swap Infinity Ultron and Juggernaut and make Infinity Ultron a 4/5 or a 4/6.
Ooh, that's a big shift. You might have to make his Stones 3-cost again.
I think we could try out Infinity Ultron at a 4-cost just to see.
Sure.
With the asterisks that Stones could cost 3. I think we try it out and see how it shapes the meta and see if it does shape anything in the scope of things. But I'm not like anti, like, no, they can never be 3 if he costs 4, blah, blah, blah. But like, try it out. Why not?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. I think Infinity Ultron's a very fine card to give a point of power to, give a buff to, right? I think that is most certainly a buff. You get 1 point of power, you lose, you lose a cost. Like that's very worthwhile. So I'm fine with Infinity Ultron becoming a 4/5. 0 issue there. I do not believe you could do a 4/6, but I do believe you could do a 4/5.
Only 4/6 if he's not doing anything well at all. But like the stones would have to be the adjustments first, probably before you give him like the extra point of power, just because of the way Power Stone works. But I think it would be interesting to use that utility at a 4 cost instead of at a 5 cost. Actually, be able to kind of utilize it more.
I'm 100% down with that. I think both of those cards struggle, whether it be from being defining or from being really, really bad. So I'm perfectly fine with Vanillotron going to a 4/5. That makes sense to me. You might. All right. So if it's okay if I go now?
Yes.
All right. Well, then I think I want to take us to. I want to take us way back. Havoc.
Okay.
I want Havoc to go back to his 2/0 +4 because he was nerfed when there was a double ability with Invisible Woman First Steps, and I don't think it's a problem. This card is really bad now. I think it's more than fair to ask for Havoc to go back to his +4 ability. It also like buffs up the idea of that like Bast deck that was fun for a bit. It's just this was a fun card. This nerf did not like. I don't know if I like the fact that it could be that it was nerfed when Invisible Woman was the problem at that time because she was a 3/5.
Right.
And I don't. They chose to nerf Havoc before her, which was such a insane choice to me personally. I think Havoc should go back to a 2/0, and I'd be, I don't know, it's balanced in my opinion. It's fine.
Yeah, I do not oppose Havoc going to a 2/0 +4, especially with the interactions like with the doubling of those abilities like we're talking about too. Yeah, I think I'm down to try Havoc out at 2/0 and just see what happens. And if it gets bad, 2-1. Like, so, I mean...
End of turn isn't even a bad deck right now, which is the other part of the logic. When I was like, I wanted to do a buff for the end of turn deck, and I think the only card I would look at really would be Havoc. Havoc is I think the biggest struggle of a card. So I think it's more than I think it's a fair one to go for here. But what do you got to end us off here then with, Tuck?
Okay. Back X23 to a 1/2.
Sure. I'm fine with that. I think I have 0 issues personally with this. Destroy's a very fun deck. Definitely been struggling for a bit. Now, I want to ask your question because I've heard people, I've heard KM and others talking about it. They want her to get +1 power when you regenerate her. 2.
Oh my god.
Right?
Oh man.
I am personally against that. But that is like, what would you prefer? I'll ask you this: between 1/1 or 1/1 regenerate this random application with +1 energy and you get +1 or with +1 power and you get +1 energy next turn, or just a 1/2 with their same stat line?
I would do 1/1 +1.
You prefer that, you think?
Yes, I would definitely do 1/1 +1, because you really can just like go on a nice roll. It's better for Venom. It's better for Null. Like, just think about the cumulativization opposed to like the Wolverine, like regular Wolverine. You're like not really running that anymore. What I do like, if you do that synergy as well, I do like that with like the Tombstone interaction, which I think what is also good about X23 being a 1/1 is since Tombstone targets the lowest power at each other location, that helps with that Tombstone kind of synergy there, which I think Tombstone is a really great destroy card in general. Still a huge fan of Tombstone at 2/4. I'm still like, this is fantastic. But it's not as fantastic as Not My Dance's content, by the way, you guys. Whether it is going over OTAs or going over patches, going over data mines, or posting his own deck guides as well. And he's doing an incredible job on Buy or Bust. You guys need to make sure you guys check that out to really know if you should be getting the next card. Dance is going to be having to make a lot of videos this week as well as he preps for the new season. You guys are going to want to be on the lookout for that. Dance's YouTube down in the description below. Make you guys subscribe to that as I stutter. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to Dance's Twitch. Follow him on Twitch and hit him with that sub. Hit him with that Prime sub. As Dance is streaming way more regularly now, you guys want to make sure you are on the lookout. Some fantastic content there, whether it is playing games, whether it is playing Snap, whether it's playing Draft. Dance will probably be playing a good bit of Draft in between making all these videos that he has to make. And after we get the OTA, Dance will be making all of the visuals for people's OTA videos. So Dance does an amazing job also just making content, helping other people make content as well, doing those amazing graphics that you guys see on a variety of different channels. Make sure Dance gets the support he deserves, whether that is on Twitch, whether that is on Twitter, where he does post his content on Twitter when videos are going live, as well as give you guys updates and ask you guys some questions there too on the YouTube. And make sure you guys, like I said, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter, make sure you guys are following and subscribe to Dance. Fantastic content creator. You guys do not want to miss out on any of his stuff there.
Urban's freaking out in the background. I was muted.
He's very excited for
that. Yeah, Urban, come here, buddy. It's okay. I promise. Yeah, he's really stoked. He's really stoked. I promise it's okay. Thank you. But I will say, I think the last thing I will. We never we don't typically talk about the other people when they say things. So I'm just gonna go to the last potential change I want to do in the OTA, and I think I want to talk about Dr. Octopus Fracture Frontier.
Okay.
I think his card should be a 2/3.
Okay.
That's it. I think that people can be annoyed with the +1s and all that stuff, and I think there's fair points there. I think that this is a very fair card to give just 1 point of power to, though, because it's potentially a 2/9, and it does a lot, but it also limits your draws in a very hurtful way. So I think it's a fair card to say that I think this should be a 2/3, and then we see what happens.
Yeah, we try out the 2/9 technicality and see how it works. But yeah, stuffing a draw is something huge in a card game when there's only 6 turns. You only have 12 cards in a deck. You only draw 1 card per turn without any other options. I definitely think that would be interesting to kind of see what all you could do with Doc Ock in that sense.
Yeah, because if you want to talk about the two 9s, yeah, Archangel. That's a 2/9.
It's true.
That is a 2/9. And it's also it is the conditional, right? You have to deal with the detriment of running Archangel in your deck. And with the detriment of Dr. Octopus saying you get 1 less draw, that is really difficult. That is a really big downside.
Yes. And
I think one of the only places where I'm somewhat okay with is if your whole deck is built around drawing. And that's such a bit you have to. I think you need to be running a King Eitria, an Adam Warlock, Chris. You have to run everything to get all the card draws, and then I'm okay with it. Barely.
Yeah, it's we were using this to. We want to hit Psylocke. Oh, we want to hit Red Wolf, and then it's Dance and I were wrong about these cards potentially, which we'll be talking about in next week's recap on Fracture Frontier.
We may or may not have missed so heavily on the way we talked about these cards, and I'm you know what, it was amusing.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe. So at the end of the day, we do want to say thank you guys so much for watching the Yap with us, as we are still into season 2 of Marvel YAP. This is going to be live a day later than normal.
I think a day later.
A day later, yeah, because the way our schedule has been all over the place. But what is our word of the day today, Dance?
I think the word of the day today, it would be very simple to talk about, to put draft in there and everything else like that. I'm going to go for a weird one. If you make it to the very end of the episode, I'd love it if you used Pinocchio in your comment down below, because we did start this episode off and we definitely titled it the fact that we lied. And Pinocchio, a famous liar. I think that's a fair one, maybe not at all, but I don't care. It's what I've decided as of now. Use the word Pinocchio in your comment down below if you have made it to the very end of the episode. And also, I do apologize. Let's make that clear for lying. However, if I have a contract and then it says I have to not talk about things again, I will lie in the future. I am not to be trusted.
So use Pinocchio in your comment down below. Use Pinocchio and let us know what your favorite augment is in draft mode, and if you guys have been enjoying it as well. And thank you guys so much for watching, for all the love and support. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe if you're new, hit that notification bell to be alerted on Dance's channel and my channel whenever our videos go live. And yeah, it's been real. God bless, and Marvel YAP out.